In February this year, I moved from Australia to the UK to play CS professionally in Sprout Academy, and I had very high expectations going into it, and I was very confident in myself and how I was playing, and I thought I kind of knew exactly what was happening and I knew how to play. I'd previously travelled around the world playing with LFO in tier 1 events, and I was kind of at the top of Australia, top 1, 2, along with Greyhound for a while, so I had a lot of confidence that I knew how the game worked and how everything happened and went within the team. And you know, when I got to Sprout Academy eventually, when I arrived in the UK, it was almost a shock in a way. I thought going into the team I could just dominate and kind of play however I want, and just kind of do whatever. But it was super interesting. My coach, who now is working for Heroic as the assistant coach, Feed, he was coaching us in Sprout Academy. He taught me this thought process, and it kind of should be known, but I think people don't understand it fully. And the process is to almost think a little bit like a mini IGL, and maybe that might scare some people off because people think, I don't want to think like an IGL, I want to be able to aim, but it's not fully like an IGL, but it's thinking about the macro game in a certain kind of way. So I'm going to run you guys through it in this video. The first thing is not to scare you off, but macro actually makes your micro better. And when I say macro, I mean thinking about the game as a whole, thinking about your teammates, thinking about kind of just what's happening in the game, the flow of the game, how it's being played. Is it a fast game? Are the enemies rushing you? Are the enemies playing passive? Can you push here? Is there a hole here? Is there a gap here? Can you take advantage of this and that the enemies are doing? And that's what the macro is. The micro is the small movements, the crouches, the donk movement, the donk slides, the peaks, the flashes for yourself, this kind of thing. It's focusing on your crosshair. That's the micro. And the thing with micro is you don't want to ever be thinking about it in your macro game. You don't ever want to be thinking about it in the game. You can think about it when you're practicing it, but in the game you always want to be thinking about the macro of the game and how you can abuse the enemy team. Now, macro thinking makes your micro better because it distracts you from thinking about your crosshair. So if you guys have ever had a really good game before, you can probably look back at that game and think about, why was this happening? And a lot of the time you can see that you were thinking about the macro of the game, what's happening, kind of everything is working, you knew when to peek, you knew when to do anything. That's because your brain was working out what's happening in the game and kind of calculating a path for you to do your best. You weren't thinking about your crosshair, I can guarantee that, because as soon as you get into the micro and you get into this kind of tunnel visioning, it makes you super focused on the wrong thing and it kind of tunnels you down into kind of a shell. So we don't want to do that. We want to kind of have an open mind. We want to think kind of not hard about it, but just kind of fully about it and what's happening with everything, what's going on in the game, what the pace is of the game. Think about the times when you were in flow state. Were you ever thinking about your aim? I guarantee no. And that's why thinking about the macro, firstly, gets you thinking about what's happening in the game more and gives you more opportunities to look for gaps and how you can play, but it also makes your micro better because it can enter you into that kind of flow state. By the way, if you're interested in any kind of one-on-one coaching, just hit the link below or just send me a message on Twitter, just a DM, and I'll see if I can help you out. Now, people in my coaching or people in my comments always ask me, why am I overthinking? How do I stop overthinking? And my answer pretty much always is to think about the big picture. Let your brain kind of relax, take in the info, find where the enemies are, let it find kind of patterns in the game, what's happening, and just kind of let it relax, kind of let it, it's almost a buzz, it's almost a high when you're in flow state. When you die in game, you're not mad, there's no emotions, you kind of understand what's happening in the game, and you die and then you're instantly back in spectate and you're helping your teammates. And this is because you're thinking about the macro. A lot of the time when you're thinking about the micro, you die and you might have gotten a kill and hit a nice shot, but then you've died, and then all you can think about is like, why did I miss? What happened? Like, what's going on? And your teammates are still playing when you can still have a lot of impact when you're dead if you're thinking about the macro and how you can help your teammates. You might have a lot of info for them. Say you die on one side of the map and you see 3 guys, instead of thinking, oh, how did I die, you're thinking, there's 3 guys on the map, and you're coming to your teammates, guys, go push A, go push the other side of the map, there's only one there. So this is super important as well. As I said before, don't get stuck in your little dark tunnel of focusing on your crosshair, because this is a sure way to miss your shots. Because doing this will guarantee not get you into that flow state, and that's what everyone is aiming for. That's what people pay thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get into. Another bonus is thinking about the macro and how the game is being played. It gives you a lot of input outside of the game. So if you understand the macro well, you're watching demos well, you're focusing on how the game is being played, how your team's played, you're understanding the strats that maybe people are calling, or even the guys in your pugs are calling. It gives you more of an opinion of, and you can have a lot more impact on the team and a lot more control of kind of what's happening. So for example, when I was in LFO, one of my old teams, I didn't have as much impact in the game because I didn't think about the macro as much. I was kind of just thinking about, oh, I'm missing my shots or I'm hitting my shots. I'm kind of just thinking about myself a lot of the time, when you need to be thinking about the whole picture of the game. And as I said before, this can lead to you having more of an opinion, more of impact, and then your rating and your impact as an individual and your micro goes up. So overall, what we want to do is think outside of our little box, think of the bigger picture. I keep repeating, but it's super important thing for me coming into that Sprout Academy team. It was a switch. Like, the coach was talking to me, gave me some exercises to do, watch some demos, analyze the demos, and get an idea of how people are playing. It's almost like you kind of want to elevate, you want to leave your body in a way. You don't want to just be stuck in this little hole, and you doing this will just open up your gameplay, and it'll make you, it's almost like an awakening of, like, you understand what's happening, you're playing your game. It's like kind of, you're just chilling, you see a guy die here, you know that, you look at the minimap, there's a guy there, okay, now we know there's one here, and there's two towards B. Okay, it's kind of just, it flows, and that's what you want. If you want to get into flow state, it flows. So we want to push that flow and get into that state as much as we can, and that's how we get these super good games. This is how we get more kills. This is how we rank up. This is how we get into better teams. This is how we become the top level pro that we want to be. So thanks for watching this, guys. Once again, if you guys want any coaching, click the link below, or just chuck me a message on Twitter, just a DM, and I'll see if I can help you out. Alright, have a good day, guys. Thank you.